Howdy, and thanks for tuning in to the Homestretch podcast and YouTube channel. I'm here with the founder of Evergreen Cottages, Jen, and we're going to talk to you in depth about all of the components in the bathroom that make it so much easier and safe for the people at his community, which are primarily memory care and dementia or Alzheimer's. So I hope you like what we have to share, and hopefully if you are privileged to be in the area and are looking for somebody or a place to put your loved one, you highly consider Jen and his Evergreen Cottage. But if you're not and you're somewhere else, it's something that you can hopefully pay a little closer attention when it comes to taking care of where the right place is for your loved one that is going to need some type of assisted living care. So here we go.
Today, let's take a look around the bathroom at Evergreen Cottages. This is an important part of everybody's daily routine. Now, how much detail can you get into in a bathroom? Well, for a dementia resident, it's important that you make things easy, that the transitions are simple, and there's no trip hazards, and everything is logical. So once we know about our residents, here's what we can do. So you could do this at home. You could make sure that your bathroom is easy to navigate for your loved one. And so we're going to show you a few features. So first of all, let's look at the tile floors. So you'll notice different sizes of tile floors here. We start out with a 1x1 tile floor that's slip resistant. The transition from the bedroom, from the carpet over into the bathroom is seamless. So there is no threshold to cross over. Any line, anything that is a trip hazard should be avoided. So we go into the shower area, and as you notice, we have a curved shower rod. And what that does is it gives us a bit more room inside the shower. So coming over to the shower, you'll notice that there is no curve right here. So it's an easy transition for the resident to
whether they have a wheelchair or a walker or a cane to help them get into the shower, right?
Absolutely, they can walk right into the shower without tripping. The wheelchair can be rolled right in. We have transfer chairs where the resident can sit down. And then if you look at the tile, you've got smaller tiles, and there's a reason for this. The tile allows for the gradual flow of water down to the drain. Now there are two drains in this bathroom. There's one right there inside the shower, but there's a secondary drain to avoid slipping. So any water that makes its way outside of the shower or out of the sink would end up inside that drain. So it helps for safety. So the other feature that we have, you will notice that the shower valve is offset from the center, closer to the outside, and that is logical for a caregiver to help a resident by standing outside and reaching in and opening the valve. Now, when you look at the handheld shower mechanism, this allows for our resident to be showered well without the fear of falling down. They can be sitting on the chair. Or if they wanted to have a regular shower, that's easy. This is a fully adjustable shower, and all you do is you adjust it to the height. So this is a little feature that you wouldn't normally find at home, but this is something desirable to have for your loved one. The handrails are easy to grab, and this provides extra safety and security for your loved one. An older person wanting to grab onto something should be able to have multiple options and also have one at the back of the shower.
Well, I want to bring a point here, because every time I go into like a restaurant and there's the handles that are for people that have some type of a disability, oftentimes what happens is those are either so worn that they've been pulled out from the wall. And I'm curious if behind each of these secure or fastening points, is there a 2x4 behind there to add extra like stability and strength for somebody that's going to be a little bit more aggressive with, you know, how it is that they're positioning their weight to get up? Like how?
Yes, that's a great question. So for most builders, they're going to try to build something as economically as they can. What we did is we have a 2x12 that runs all the way down and goes all the way across. So we've got this entire backboard as a 2x12. So wherever that lands, we can position these exactly where we want them. Oftentimes you'll find that a builder will put a 2x4 and then try to match the handrail to the 2x4. Now that's not the best way. We should be positioning those handrails in the optimal position. So we should have multiple options, and so we decided to do a 2x12 back there. Added cost, yes, but functionality is 100% what the resident needs.
And you have them all around, even around the toilet area
That's
as
correct.
well.
We have-
So those are other key things. And go ahead and talk to me about this little innovation that you guys did over here. Not just let's
Yes.
finish. Let's finish. Let's go
Yes.
ahead. Let's finish.
So one of the biggest things that we hear is that mom or dad went into the shower and they turned the shower on and the water was hot and they burnt themselves. Well, so what we did is we came up with an idea of how to alleviate that. And here we go. So our hot water runs through this valve. Our caregivers will come in and turn this valve to the on position right there and lock the door. And once they finish showering, they'll come back and they will turn off the water. So the hot water is cut off, the cold water is still on, and the water is coming to the sink. So inadvertently, mom or dad won't get themselves burnt at the sink or in the shower. So if they get into the shower, they're going to have a cold shower rather than a shower that can damage them by being too hot and burning their skin.
Question about that, because you're a memory care facility
Yes.
or community. Do people have the residents have a sensitivity to cold or to hot water?
Like anybody, they like to have warm water. If it's too hot, they do have a sensitivity.
So their neurological pathways and their senses can tell them whether it's hot or cold.
We believe so, yes. They
But
absolutely know that.
there isn't really an instance of, well, the hot water is on and yes, they have burns, but they can't feel it.
No, they will feel it.
Okay.
Yes.
And then tell us about this little, I guess, advancement, if you will, in this simple little cabinet. Talk about
Yes.
this.
So here's a couple of things that we did. So first of all, we have no kick plate underneath there. So most homes will have a kick plate under there, and what that does is it stops your foot from going under there, but it also stops you from wiping and cleaning under there. So we have these cabinets that are higher up, so in case there was any water, then you can get your foot under there, you can get a mop under there. But there's a second thing. All of our cabinets have locks on them. Some residents with dementia would take a bright colored liquid like hair shampoo and think that it might be something they could drink. And if they drank that, it would be poisonous to them. So what we do is we lock everything behind this cabinet. Now, this cabinet's a little unique. It's got the lower drawer, which has space to keep mom and dad's things inside. And then it has the upper drawer, which can keep some other items in there. And what that allows us to do is to keep the incontinence supplies, if they needed those, in here, and there's enough room between those. But in one step, we can close both. So if you can just imagine that the caregiver is helping mom or dad, and with one hand they can close this, and they can lock that, and off they go. So we've looked at little innovations like that to try to see how we could make our caregivers' life a lot easier, safer for the residents, and then spend more time with the resident rather than spend time closing 3 drawers, locking 3 drawers. But it's all safer. It's one hand pull. You've got what you need. Close that on a soft close, lock it, and you're gone.
Another thing to just a little detail for efficiency. So thank you very much, Jen, for sharing these little details that actually make a big impact on the overall satisfaction, probably removing frustration, removing hazards and safety issues that could arise, and making it allowing your caregivers and the people that work with you to focus on being with the residents and interacting with them, providing more care instead of having to clean up a mess.
That's
or
absolutely
address something that could have been avoided.
Yes, and that's the primary goal, is to avoid issues where we know that they could be an issue. Why have an exposure to hot water when we could avoid it? It's all in the design.
So I want to encourage you, if you're interested in knowing how Jin and the Evergreen Cottages here in Katy, Texas, improve the cognitive ability of his residents so that the quality of life that they have enhances and doesn't degrade at a faster rate, check out the Homestretch podcast, available on iTunes and Spotify and many other platforms. In addition to this video content, we have a link in the description for you to check out Jin and his operation here, and also a link to the Spotify and YouTube accounts where you can just, with a click, figure out what tips and tricks that you can incorporate by listening into the Homestretch. So 101 plus tips for navigating assisted living and nursing homes. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. The remaining time that you have with your loved one is precious. So may it be abundant and joyful. And until our next conversation, have a beautiful day.